What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. It is Thursday, October 31st, Halloween. But I'll tell you this right now, the crypto markets are anything but spooky. It is continually bullish. Yes, today is a pullback, as we predicted there would be one. And I'm going to tell you some levels that are very interesting for potential purchases on Bitcoin moving forward. But October is coming to a close. It's the final day, and it proved to be 1,000% right. What does this mean about November and December and the following months coming? It means the bull run is here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's gonna get feisty very quickly. BlackRock took very much advantage of the month, buying a whole lot of Bitcoin, but you're gonna want to find out more about those details. Stick around for the entire show. First, smash the like button. Maybe some of you guys are gonna win some money today. Also, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the content coming out from one of the fastest growing crypto communities, the Investing Bros. But first, we got to roll the intro. T. Shroom, how are you doing, my friend?
Better than I deserve, Tim. Better than I deserve. Happy Halloween. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's been quite a day so far. I'll tell you this. It's not necessarily the most interesting day. Up front, we do have some stories. We have a good amount of stories about similar topics, but hopefully we have some time to do some Q&A with you guys about altcoins. But I put out a tweet today, and this is something that's going to ring true today. It's going to ring true for the future as well. If you're ever wondering what the best days to be accumulating crypto are, it's the boring days. It's the days just like today. Maybe there's a little bit of a dip. There doesn't seem to be any type of momentum. People are asking the question, man, was that the top? Are we going to go further? When are we going to go further? Those are the days that always seem to be the greatest for buying. So make sure not to tune out. In fact, the more boring the feeling of the day, the better the opportunity is, you can make some money. So always use that information moving forward. T-Shroom, anything you want to say to the people before we get into the bubbles and then jump right on into the stories, starting off with Bitcoin? What do you got for the people?
Well, traders who got out and sold the top, congratulations to you very, very much. Investors who sold the top, I'm just here to tell you, you sold way too early. Even though you may be looking good now that price is corrected and coming back to the downside, you want to get back. You are lucky that price is playing long and staying low. Let's look at the bubbles and see some altcoin opportunities as well.
That's right. There's a lot of opportunities. When you see a sea of red, of course, it's because yesterday was so explosive. The day before that was explosive as well. There's a couple of outliers here, like Kaya up 12%. How about Kaspa up 4.6, hitting some major support? We talked about that just a couple of days ago. If you got in on our long opportunity we put over in our VIP trading group, you would be up in that trade. We got a long way to go before it is over. You're going to see a lot of the bubbles. None of the red ones are really bigger than the others. A lot of coins hovering between that 6 to 9% drop rate today. This is expected. Before we move into other stories and charts, I did want to show you guys Bitcoin dominance, as we suspected, did not stop at 60%. It is continuing to rise to the upside. Unlike, though, in the previous days where it was because Bitcoin was rallying so fast and outpacing other coins, today it's because, well, Bitcoin's down, but altcoins are just down a whole lot more. Still have a target for Bitcoin dominance now, sitting up in the camp of 62 to 63% is our new goal for a peak on this dominance chart, followed by a crash, bringing along altcoin season. You got to stick with the bros to track how that will look like, and the timetable you're looking at to be transitioning maybe some Bitcoin profits heavily into altcoins. We will cover that in the next couple of months. But first, T-Shroom, it is Bitcoin season. Bitcoin is still the coolest kid on the block. It's the best form of your investment at the moment, and there's a lot of reasons to remain very bullish on Bitcoin. Why don't you lead us in to our Bitcoin conversation?
Absolutely, Tim. We're going to kick it off with a clip. We've heard some news from Florida. We're going to get a little bit more details about what's going on down in the Sunshine State. Let's take a look, Tim. Let's take a listen.
Well, crypto's not going anywhere. It's not going to contract. It's going to continue to be expanding. And I think we'd be a fool if we're not prepared to do everything we can to harness the opportunities there. Yes, I'm a fiduciary over the state's pension funds, and I need to make sure that the legislature is armed with all the tools and resources. So I put it to our SBA investment team. Let's get all the tools on the dashboard. Let's look at everything that we can do to possibly leverage this opportunity. I'm very bullish on Florida. You can probably figure that out by now. But as we had 400,000 new net Floridians come to Florida last year alone, our state's reserves are 4 times now higher than they were in 2020. So again, we're in a good place. I like to pay down debt. I see there's an opportunity that's very bright with Florida's future, but we need to be prepared for what crypto can bring to our investment portfolio.
Super cool to see someone who traditionally should fit the category of the most conservative investor in the world, talking about crypto, talking about Bitcoin. Guys, it doesn't get much more conservative than a state pension fund in the United States. So it's very, very cool to see. And they're following in the footsteps of pension funds that have already done this in the cases of Wisconsin and Michigan. Tim, how bullish is this? And when are you moving back to Florida?
It's very bullish, and I'm not moving back to Florida, Lord willing. I'll say this, though. It's one thing to recommend Bitcoin, right? That's something a lot of people are doing for a long time. Those of us who are deep in the weeds, we talk to our families and our loved ones and kind of strike fear. But on this fine Halloween, T-Shroom, it's like he's trying to spook you into buying Bitcoin. He's trying to make you afraid. If you don't own Bitcoin, you should be afraid. It's very interesting to hear a person of financial power and authority kind of speak to the fear of not being invested in Bitcoin. I found that kind of intriguing, and it's super, super bullish. Still want to preach to everybody, invest wisely, even in Bitcoin. I think you should do everything in your power to get out of US dollars and into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. That being said, some people aren't going to like this take, T-Shirt, but not everybody should be invested. Not everybody should be moving money. Some of you need to be paying off debts that are drowning you. Some of you need to just make sure you're continuing to focus on putting food on the table and you're, keeping the roof over your head. Those things are more important than Bitcoin. But the sooner and the better you can get transitioned your savings and your long-term financial situations into Bitcoin. I don't know if you have a job that allows you to potentially, they match your 401k investing. Make sure you're putting that money into Bitcoin, because I can tell you right now, if you have a 401k and you're keeping that in US dollars, by the time you retire, that's going to be worthless. Pretty much worthless. But there's ways right now that you can get invested. You can make your 401k and your retirement plans all into Bitcoin. And a lot of companies actually allow you to do it. They just don't tell you about it. Look into your company and see if you can put all of your retirement into Bitcoin. That would be my recommendation for you guys today. And it sounds like he's the CFO. What is his position in Florida? Financial officer or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I believe he's the CFO. That's right.
He is. So Florida has a CFO. All right, I didn't know they had a CFO. All right, so the Florida CFO is telling you if you don't do it, you're making a massive mistake. Be afraid on Halloween. Go invest in Bitcoin. Real quick, shout out to Crypto Facts Report with the super chat saying greetings from South Florida. Educate, elevate. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Absolutely. We are here to continue to educate and elevate people. We want to see you guys be successful. Everything in life. Sometimes, though, when you are successful financially, that does help bleed into the other corners of your life. So that's what we're here to help with. Thank you so much for your support there, Crypto Facts Report. T-Shroom, we got more stories. Let's keep going, and then we'll jump into some Bitcoin charts.
Yes, indeed. We do have some more stories, Tim. And that's while some states and some big wallets are considering buying Bitcoin and having to convince Congress to buy Bitcoin, BlackRock is front-running America. BlackRock ramps up Bitcoin buying, invests in MicroStrategies. Let's take a look at some of the details here, Tim. This one gets a little crazy. According to Arkham Intelligence, BlackRock has purchased $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in the last week, almost more than me. Its current total holdings sit at just under 400,000 Bitcoin, which is a substantial amount. Yes, I agree with that. There, beincrypto.com. Using the right descriptor word there. But nonetheless, a far cry from Binance's 667,000 Bitcoin holdings. Arkham data shows that BlackRock has been buying Bitcoin steadily throughout each day, typically in 600 Bitcoin chunk transactions. And you can see some of them pictured there, and noticing that Coinbase is the prime custodian for that. Data from Look On Chain reveals that on Monday, BlackRock invested another $300 million into Bitcoin, acquiring 4,369 coins. This accounted for the majority of Bitcoin bought by all ETF issuers on October 28th. So they bought all through October $1 billion worth, and they didn't stop at the end of the month. They finished strong. Last week, it expanded its stake into MicroStrategies to 5.2%. MicroStrategies may not be an ETF issuer, but it's also a leading corporate investor in Bitcoin, and their values are closely tied. So, Tim, when you're BlackRock, you can become so powerful that you start to buy the stock of your closest competitor, MicroStrategies. I guess Binance would be, the biggest one to beat. But this is just, it's so bullish all the way around. It's starting to have a little bit of the feel of what Jason Lowry talked about, with just kind of an arms race, an absolute all-out land race to go ahead and get as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. So it's bullish, Tim. In fact, it's extremely bullish. We have to look here. I want to pull this up. These are the inflows graphically, because sometimes we read a number, $1 billion in a month. Well, is that much for a company like BlackRock, a $12 trillion company? It is. Look at these inflows. These are the daily histograms here. We have actually never seen 2 days in a row of histograms this high where they were above 850 million in a day. We have had histograms that were higher than that in general, but never 2 days in a row. So, Tim, I mean, obviously this is bullish. There's no way to examine this without coming to that conclusion. But what does this mean? Is it any more bullish than maybe what it lets on?
Well, so first of all, the $1 billion wasn't even in the whole month. It was in the last week, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that we're all the way up to $2 billion. I mean, I think they've done a lot of purchasing here over the last week or so, but a lot of Bitcoin being purchased. And before anyone tries to fact check us and tries to scrutinize, I want to make sure we clarify here, at least the way this is read, not all of this money is technically BlackRock's money. I'll explain that here in a second, but it's not like BlackRock out of their personal accounts is just buying up a lot of Bitcoin. They're doing this because they hold the #1 traded Bitcoin spot ETF. And so every time that an issuer comes in and buys stock in their ETF, they have hours to go and purchase the amount of Bitcoin they need to pump it up. But I guarantee you some of this is them. And again, when they're buying the MicroStrategy stock, that, first of all, is them. But secondly, we have seen historically, I could be wrong on this one. Someone might need to fact check this, but I believe there's only 1 or 2 days that the BlackRock spot ETF for a Bitcoin has been in the negative, right? When you look at other ETFs, there's been lots of days, tens of days, not hundreds yet, because we only had probably about 100 days of this thing trading. The point overall, though, is that why do they never go negative? Because even on the days where they have their users selling, BlackRock themselves is buying their own ETF. So it's hard to know at this time how much of this is BlackRock purchasing Bitcoin, how much of this is BlackRock users purchasing Bitcoin. What we do know, though, is that through BlackRock, billions are being bought by the weekly basis at this standpoint. And something that people need to be aware of, listen, in the world of investing, for investing to work, there's winners and there's losers. Somebody's buying and someone's selling, and there's always a side that got the better side of that arrangement, right? If I want to buy, someone else has to be willing to sell. Who's the one that loses? I'll tell you this, BlackRock is not on the side of losing when it comes to investing. That's why they're doing things like even buying up MicroStrategy stock, because they want to make a lot of money. So if you find yourself on the same side of investing as BlackRock, historically, you're doing pretty well, and you should be expecting some major gains. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is about to shoot up right this second, and we're going to go to 100,000 by the end of the night. But I am saying that if BlackRock is buying, that's a very, very good sign for any market. And in this case, we are talking about Bitcoin, the king of crypto. The alts will trickle right behind. This is massively bullish. Yes, it's a boring day. Yes, there's not a lot of excitement out there. Make sure to focus on the tiny details, and this is one of those details that should make you overly, overly, overly bullish today.
Absolutely, Tim. Well, with that, we've got more bullish Bitcoin news on the other side of the charts, but I think we're ready to go ahead and analyze what it is Bitcoin's doing.
Let's do it. At the moment, if we go to my screen here, we had been watching. I told you guys yesterday, actually, I think, yesterday, I think, because 2 days ago, we talked about the potential of it breaking new all-time highs. We talked about the movement back down here towards 70K. You're going to see today we have wicked as low as 70. Did we hit 70,000 on the dot today is what it's looking like. Let's go into the hourly chart. Did we actually touch 70K? What does this one say? Yeah, it says on Coinbase we got to 70K on the dot. I'll have to look and trade. I had a short where I put my take profit at $70,001. Now I was trading on Blofin, not on Coinbase. So I'll have to go see if that actually triggered here over the last little bit. But my overall point is our first target that we had been monitoring and watching for a potential Bitcoin pullback does look like it's in the cards of being hit at the moment. One of the big reasons is because of the liquidations that are all sitting in this area. But as we've gotten closer to it, they're starting to build up a little bit lower. There's actually a lot of things now saying down towards 69,000. You might be saying, Tim, why are we getting so negative here? I thought we were talking about being extremely bullish. Well, it is extremely bullish, but you know what happens before really bullish things happen? Prices seem to kind of fall back. The whales get to buy one more dip. And now it's time to move out and take a look at a price level that we are now watching in our community that is very intriguing, that a lot of you are not going to want to talk about. You're not going to want to admit it's on the table, but it absolutely is. And that would be a pullback all the way back down towards $65,000. Yes, I know a lot of you are going to say, Tim, I thought we were just talking about all-time highs. We were just talking about how BlackRock is so bullish. Here's the thing, guys. When you're trading, when you're investing, you do not just go with your emotions. You get aware of all of the data. You ask yourself the question, what is possible? You know, it's not about what's absolutely going to happen. You have to understand what is possible. And what I'm looking at right now, T-Shroom, is despite all of the bullishness, despite the fact that we are going to close with an Uptober, despite the fact that we are a week away from an election that more than likely will see a spike to the whole field, a further pullback to the downside isn't necessarily out of the cards, and there's some reasons as to why. Going back over into my charts, you're going to see here I have a different line drawn than the red one you're normally going to see. This trend line is, some people are going to have this trend line on their charts. It connects to several of the daily candles here on the pullback we've had over the last couple of months. And while you do see some wicks above back here in June and here in July, as a whole, we weren't really closing daily candles above that blue line. This touches several wicks of resistance, even here more recently, and was a major support level on the pullback after touching 69,000 here earlier in October. Well, I'm watching that, and I'm watching liquidation, seeing some heavy liquidity down here towards that $65,000 target, and I'm saying to myself, man, this is absolutely doable for us to pull back. The smart trail quickly rising here on the daily chart itself is still climbing towards that level. And when I look at this analysis here, T-Shroom, I notice that a pullback of this magnitude, let's say we made it to this level, we're talking about 11% pullback for Bitcoin. Well, has history shown that this is a reliable target? Absolutely it has. We were just talking about this the other day, but let's go back to 2020. We're in the fall of 2020. The election is about to happen. Bitcoin is back up, getting close to breaking former all-time highs back here. Actually, sorry, I said October. This is actually after the election here in November. But you can see here this blue line. This is the top from the Bitcoin bull market in December of 2017. We touched it. We got very close to it. And then we pulled back. Just how far back did we pull after touching that level? Oh, would you look at that? 11.3%. So we've seen this kind of a pullback happen when testing previous all-time highs. We also see that once the breakout happens, there's no retesting of support of this former high. It takes off like a bottle rocket, and it gets very explosive very fast. We're watching this right now, T-Shroom. We saw a lot of people take profit at that former all-time high, and now you're seeing just a little bit of weakness with liquidity coming into these lower levels. And I'll tell you this, if everyone is so bullish, if retail is bullish right now, which happens after major pumps, this is the exact reason why you would see the experienced traders take advantage of all of these long positions, over-leveraged retail investing longs. They bring the price back down, discouraging people from thinking maybe, oh, with a big pullback back down towards 66, 65,000, maybe that means the bull market is over. Maybe that means that the whole thing's done. Maybe all of those bears were right. only for you to get faked out once again. You come back, you hit a major level of former resistance, you turn it into support, and then the bull market takes off just like it always has happened in history. I'm not guaranteeing that happens. I'm not saying that's a 100% certainty, but it's absolutely something to keep an eye on, that it's a possibility. And a lot of times, possibilities in chaotic markets like right now end up coming true. A lot of other people, T-Stream, have mentioned that there's technically a gap around $68,000 going down to 66, 65, of course, would satisfy filling that gap as well. So a handful of reasons as to why Bitcoin could pull back a little bit further before breaking out to new all-time highs. But keep your eyes on those charts. Be buying every chance you can. If you get some dry powder, buy it, because here in a couple of weeks, you'll never get the chance to buy sub 70K ever again. Those days are fleeting. Take advantage of them.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Tim, we said we had more bullish news, and we do. And in case you didn't know, there is an election afoot here in the United States, and one of the candidates, Donald Trump, is wishing Bitcoiners a happy 16th anniversary of Satoshi's white paper and calls to free Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht from prison. This was a big theme in Bitcoin 2024 in Tennessee. It's not something we talk about too much, but definitely something that should be done there. And Donald Trump saying he'll get it done if he gets elected. Very, very bullish there. Of course, we'll check in here with the poly market spread. Donald Trump losing a little bit of ground here, actually. Now 61%, 0.3. That was 62 yesterday. Harris at 38.8. But if you look at the charts, it's still, I wouldn't, Donald Trump's still ahead by quite a margin here, as far as what poly market is saying, what the betting odds are saying. So pretty bullish. Of course, in my opinion, there is not a bigger catalyst right now for Bitcoin than the U.S. elections. It's going to be extremely significant. Tim, do you have any kind of updates for us? Any thoughts as the election becomes very, very, very close?
I think, I'm kind of a broken record here. There might even be disagreement. There is disagreement on this from the two of us up here on camera. I still think no matter what happens, this is going to be a very close election. I think there's still a very real chance that Kamala Harris ends up winning the popular vote. There are some things that have happened the last couple of days with remarks about Puerto Rico from Tony Hinchcliffe, remarks from Biden about Americans that vote for Trump are garbage, just some different things that go back and forth. But I said the other day, T-Shirt, I think people at this point know who they're going to vote for. Everyone who's going to vote, I think they know if they're going to vote or not. I think they know exactly who they're voting for. I think that there's a chance that the points could be a pretty wide margin. Like, there's a chance that when you look at the Electoral College, somebody wins by a landslide. And again, I give that edge towards Donald Trump. But I don't think the votes are going to be as dominant as some people are kind of saying. I still think it's going to be close. I still think, I said it, I already think that everyone who thinks they're going to vote is going to vote. If you're considering not voting, I urge you to go vote. Even if you're going to vote for someone who I'm not going to vote for, go vote. Make your voice heard. If you're sitting here saying, in my state, such and so has such a head lead, my vote doesn't mean anything, it absolutely still does. I understand the nuance of thinking if you live in a super blue or super red state, maybe your vote doesn't count even if you're going to vote on that same side. You never know what happens on election day. You never know who's going to show up and who's not going to show up. Go out and vote. Do not be discouraged. Do not let people stop you from exercising your freedom to go out and vote for who you think the best leader of our country should be. Yep. Again, I would recommend Donald Trump, but if you feel otherwise, go say that. Go make your voice heard at the polls. You got a couple days left.
It's a good point, and I voted already. I voted in Florida, even though Florida is decidedly red, and it's been that way for some time. But if you are in one of these states, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan, especially Pennsylvania, you got to get out and vote and take a couple of friends with you to help the cause, right? Yeah. Now, we've got an interesting thought here, and we're not going to get away from voting, but we will get away from the U.S. elections here in just a second. $3.4 trillion JP Morgan, maybe you've heard of him, says Trump could boost Bitcoin's price. So in case you're in doubt of who the Bitcoin candidate is, JP Morgan is helping remind you. Now, here's something for those of you who own Microsoft. Very important. Early voting for Microsoft's Invest in Bitcoin assessment proposal has begun. I received something that looked very similar to this in my email inbox, the email associated with my Robinhood account. Okay, and this is what it looked like to me on mobile. It's very, very simple. Number 5, question 5, you vote for it. Okay, vote for question 5, and then all of the other ones, you do have to make a selection. I just abstained from all the other ones. To be honest with you, I don't really care too much about everything else. There was some stuff that looked kind of interesting, but I just abstained from all the other voting motions. Number 5, I voted for. That could potentially be a huge, huge move if the Microsoft board is forced to go ahead and buy Bitcoin. So make it happen. Make your voice heard if you're a Microsoft holder. If you do not hold Microsoft, like on a brokerage, then you probably will not be able to vote for this. But if you hold it on Robinhood, it's going to look like this. It's going to come in an email. Check your spam if you don't see it, and vote for number 5 if you want Bitcoin to go up and to the right. If you don't, then maybe you've got a big short position, and so you can do accordingly whatever you want. All right, we're going to move into our altcoin section here. Franklin Templeton takes its tokenized treasury fund to Base, becomes first asset manager on the layer 2. Guess what's down today? Coinbase stock. Might not be a bad time to look into it, because Franklin Templeton, a gigantic fund manager, has just selected Base as the layer 2 to start deploying funds. We're not going to go away from altcoins. In fact, we're going to drill deeper here. Coinbase just flashed a warning signal about the crypto market. Let's get into some details here. And then, Tim, I know your blood was boiling about this one. Coinbase said it expects fourth quarter revenue in the range of $505 million to $580 million from its subscription and services unit, a retail product. The outlook, which follows a 7% quarterly drop in revenue in that division, reflects certain headwinds, including a 10% price decline in Ethereum in October compared to the third quarter average, as well as lower interest rates, Coinbase said. It's a sign, here's the big thing, it's a sign that retail traders have shied away from crypto trading and have yet to return, at least not en masse. So, Tim, why is this actually bullish? It sounds bearish. Why is this bullish?
Yeah, so it's confusing how it was put up there, but I want to clarify for people, anyone wondering, man, what's this signal that they're talking about? They're ultimately just saying that retail investors didn't seem as excited about purchasing crypto over the last quarter. I wonder why. Let's go take a look at what the Bitcoin chart looks like again. That kind of, well, you know what? Let's look at the crypto. Let's just go look at total crypto market cap. Let's go to the daily chart. Actually, let's go weekly chart here. Let's take a look here. If you go back over the last 6 months, since back in March, the crypto markets have been trending boringly sideways and slightly to the downside. In fact, Bitcoin recently has been flirting with new all-time highs. But if you look at the altcoin or the crypto space as a whole, we still got a ways to go to rematch these highs of it's not all-time highs, but the highs of this bull run so far, back up around $2.7 trillion. So what is the bearish call here? It's almost like this article, even writing about Coinbase, is playing the clickbait game. It's a really good article, made me click on it, would make several of you guys click on it as well. But use your brain here. If retail isn't buying, what often is the reason for that? Because there's a lot of manipulation in the game, right? Retail investors don't often make the right decision. In fact, this is the perfect example as to why institutions were ready to buy in such bulk. We just talked about how BlackRock has been buying billions of dollars of crypto. That doesn't account for all the other institutions that are going big. We got the CFO of Florida telling people, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're making a major mistake. Well, guess what? That's easy to hear, but when you've been trading sideways and downwards, when your portfolio is in the red from 6 months ago, it's really easy to be discouraged and say, hey, this is a bad sign. That's the perfect time for the actual bull market to start. No one's selling. Like at this point, if you're in the crypto space, you're not selling, but people haven't been buying either. What that communicates to the institutions is, man, we really can't force prices to go much lower whatsoever. It's time to start buying in bulk. And then over the next couple of weeks and months, this will be a major sign to the upside. So the headline of this article, extremely bearish. But when you dive into the details and what they're communicating, T-Shroom, this is extremely bullish, not just for Bitcoin, but for the altcoin space as well. I'm going to continue to make my call that we're right on schedule. It's Bitcoin season right now. The Bitcoin dominance chart is climbing. Here in about a month, watch Ethereum start to pop off and make some climbs as well. And then late December, early January, alt season comes. It's going to be a glorious time. We're going to make a lot of money, and it's all right on schedule. Do not give up. Continue to hodl on. That's all I got for that story, T-Shirt.
I love it. I love it. Well, we've got some big giveaways coming very, very soon. We'll get to those in just a few minutes. But we have actually reached the end of the news section here. So go ahead and shout out any TA that you would like to see on your favorite crypto. And we've also got our factoid of the day that we will do while you all are putting the tickers in there that you are interested in. We're going to be looking at Caspa as well. So let's go ahead and jump on into the factoid of the day here, brought to you all by our tax partner, Decrypted.tax. Tim, in which country did the tradition of carving pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, originate? Was it the United States, Ireland, Scotland, or Germany? What is the right answer here, Tim?
You know what's crazy? As you were reading the question, for some reason, Germany popped into my brain. So the fact that it's one of the options, jack-o'-lantern, though, sounds Scottish, doesn't it?
No comment.
I'm gonna go with C, Scotland, just because of Jacko. That does sound like a Scottish reference right there.
All right,
so
well, let us know in the chat. What's the right answer here? Tim's going with Scotland, but is he right?
Oh, God, please, no! No! No!
Yeah, that one.
No!
Oh, goodness. No,
You can't win
got
them
it
all.
wrong. Can't get them all. No, but we still have tomorrow. You know, Friday we're two out of 4 this week, right? If I get
That's
tomorrow's right, we will be able to give somebody $100. So come back tomorrow, and that'll be on the. We're gonna give someone. We're gonna have 2 people today $500. It's the
That's
last day of the month. We told you guys from here on out, on the last show of every single month, we're going to be giving all of our Lux Algo users who have signed up with our link and then come into our Discord to become VIP traders. You will all be entered to win $500. And the same thing for anyone who signed up with one of the bros links, either Coinbase or CoinW, or Blofin, our 2 trading exchange partners. You guys will also be entered. So I encourage you, despite the fact that it's too late to enter for today's giveaway, go sign up with those links down below. Join our amazing trading group. We're crushing it over there. But also, you can win up to $500 a month just by joining those things. And if you join all of them, you get more entries. So that's another reason you should be in all of our links down there. A lot of people here, Jack Rice saying Ondo, wrong again saying Arrow is looking, he said Arrow chart looks trash. Is it though? Sometimes trash charts are the best opportunities.
One man's trash.
It's too soon to talk about trash here in America. We shouldn't be talking about trash. It's a sensitive topic here. What did we say? It was on. Let's start off with Ondo. Ondo. Oh, you guys see my trade setup. We'll talk with it. This is the kind of stuff you get in the VIP trading group. We put a lot of these in chat every single week. This is the kind of stuff you can see. If you're confused on what to look for trades, hey, go get Luxago, potentially win $500, and join our VIP trading group to see our trade setups. Right now, I'm looking potentially, T-Shroom, at a pullback back down towards 64 cents. Does that seem right? Yeah, 64 cents. Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now here on Ondo. Coming back down. Reasons why we're looking down there. Well, as you start to look at some of these lower time frames, you are going to see some weakness starting to come in. You also going to see some major liquidations on these lower time frames. Let's turn this stuff off here. You're going to see some liquidations also calling for these price levels down here. We got major order blocks in play on the longer time frames. Go back out to the daily chart. Yeah. Longer time frames, we got some major order blocks in play here. And again, if Bitcoin falls, I right now it's Bitcoin season. I don't see a world in which case Bitcoin makes the move back down below 70K and alts just kind of hang tight where they currently are. There's reasons to suspect we could be making moves to the downside. You're also going to see here, based off what time frames you're looking at, some weakness. We are seeing some of these charts say we should be going lower, like the 4-hour chart. A lot of room to the downside too. So we're watching right now. You can get in a little sooner than we are. This is a big trade, traded for a long time to make a move all the way back up towards $1 by the time it's all said and done. But 64 cents is on the table as a decent entry for Ondo in the near future. There's your little cheat trade of the day setup. Arrow, we said it was trash. Is it though? Is it trash or is it a treasure? Ooh. It looks, guys, it looks like a trade setup that we had potentially on the table would have entered already. Now, I didn't enter into this trade, but it is one to keep an eye on. I'll go ahead and say, though, we didn't set this up today. Might be a good idea to update this chart. And let's move this over. I'm going to kind of ignore these levels for a second and update and see if I would go with anything maybe a more aggressive in light of what we're working on at the moment. You can see here a double bottom more recently around $1. That shows that the dollar is a very, very strong level of support right now for Aerodrome. So keep an eye on that. But should we move any more to the downside, let's check out first the daily chart. Let's see what the daily chart's saying in the way of the oscillators. We started to make a bullish move on all of them, but we're seeing a small fake out right now. Again, we're not getting quite a buy signal on Luxalgo. We still have a green reversal and bullish momentum, but the money flow, you can see that tiny bit of red right there. It's still making its way to the downside. So it's not time yet on Arrow to go ahead and enter. What about what we see on the 4-hour chart from the oscillators? We're getting low, but you can see the 4-hour chart. We still have a little bit lower we can go. RSI is getting close to being oversold, getting closer towards that 30, but still has lower to go. The MACD is not showing a curve. The RSI or the oscillator from the Luxalgo indicator is not showing a curve. The money flow is extremely boring and sideways. What about the 1-hour chart? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. It's getting close. We are oversold. We are seeing signs that we want to reverse soon, but the money flow still going to the downside. So based off this hourly chart, I want to go ahead and say it's time to take a look here and say what's support down below us that we could still see some good entries here. I'm going to start off. Let's start off with liquidations. And if any of you guys are seeing this indicator and you're saying, man, how is Tim getting liquidations on the trading chart on TradingView? This is something coming very soon. It's an indicator we have been working with Luxalgo to build a specialized indicator through the bros. It will be on sale hopefully by the end of November. We're working on it. Nice. You'll be able to do it very soon. Big liquidity right here, T-Shroom, back down around 114, and then you don't really stop until 112, right? So let's put a box on this grouping right in here, and let's see what else kind of lines up with that position there. Let's take a look at our Luxalgo indicators. Well, we're under a sell signal that's below the smart trail with a take profit coming in where? Right there at 113 inside of that box. We're below some bearish breaker blocks. Let's move up here towards the 4-hour chart. Same thing, take profit in that same camp right there. So I'm leaning towards a 113 entry. We'll get a little bit more aggressive here with a stop loss, probably going below the $1 mark since that is such strong support. But with that said, let's go out to the longer time frames. Yep, big order block in here. Ooh, I will say the daily chart smart trail could be an intriguing spot as well. That's the daily chart. Hold on, that's the 2-daily chart. All right, no, we're good. We're going to come in here. I'm going to lean towards the lower part. We're going to go 112. We'll go 112 on the dot. So we're gonna move this back, but we're gonna go down to 112. Good enough for government work right there. You don't got to go crazy here, everybody. You don't need much. 2x on this sucker. You're buying it at about 112, give or take. You got your stop loss put in here, just a little bit below $1. We're gonna move it a little lower towards. I just broke everything. Got to redo this now. All right, this is what you want. There we go. If I can freaking grab this thing, there we go. 98 cents. Not much of a stop loss. 12% move the downside. If you're on a 2x, that means you're risking about 24%. To the upside, though, I still like my target to the upside. Got to turn this stuff off. Of going up to 230. You guys can see when I had the indicators up here, major order block back at all-time high here for Aerodrome. So this is a trade to hold into like January during altcoin season. You take profit back up close to all-time highs around $2.30. Not a bad trade right there. We're talking about a 100% move to the upside. Throw a 2x on that. That's a 200% gain. You got yourself a solid trade entry there for Aerodrome. It's trash, but that trash might just turn into some riches if you trade it correctly. T-Shroom, it is 3:40. We still have a lot of time left here. Do you want to go ahead and do the giveaways now and then get back into some Q&A? Or do you want to go more Q&A? We got some super chats that came in here real quickly we should read. Username said, Shroomy, My wife just asked if you're from Florida. She says you should like some JP reporter from there at first. Wait, you look like maybe. All right, username. We're gonna read this. It looks a little broken. Show me. My wife just asked if you're from Florida. She says you should like some JP reporter from there, and at first thought you were. Confusing there.
I am from Florida.
You are from Florida, yes.
And I am still in Florida.
I don't know the rest of that super chat there.
JP
Jack
reporter?
Rice,
Maybe Jordan Peterson? I'm not sure.
but I don't know if it says you should like them. So, like, is it meaning you should look like them? Do they think that that's who you were? Are they trying to give you dating advice, despite the fact that you're a married man, that you should have some form of a romantic relationship?
Sounds like
with this JP
username
reporter?
clarified. It sounds like a JP reporter.
Okay.
Which I still don't know what JP is. Jacksonville Press? I don't know. Not sure. But I hope they're a handsome and knowledgeable individual who is that JP reporter. I don't know. All right. And yeah, Jack Rice donating $10.
Yeah, Jack Rice. No comment. Jack, if you have something to say, let us know. We'll read it out. Keep an eye out for that. I'll say before we move on, we'll do the giveaways here in a second. I did want to take a look at the stocks that were dropping. We talked about them briefly. Did they bounce back up? No, okay, they're still down. Okay, I missed them for a second. Coinbase and Robinhood. Again, these are two of the exchanges that we recommended the other day for brand new investors, right? We're not saying everyone should use Robinhood and Coinbase. If you're more advanced and you can use riskier yet cheaper exchanges to buy crypto, we recommend that. But for every beginner, these are very user-friendly. They're very easy to get in and invest. They're taking a little bit of a dip today, but one of the reasons why is they've hit major resistance here recently. This is Coinbase. Talked about it the other day. We discussed the fact that if we had broken above this smart trail, we could have made a massive run up here to 368. But with us hitting this resistance, now it's time to take our eyes to the downside. I really like this order block here, T-Shroom, as a potential reinvesting position back around $166 per share. You even go out to the weekly chart, you're going to see a very similar thing. We rejected on that weekly smart trail. We don't have anything kind of saying there's support right in there, but I'm going to defer kind of to that daily chart and say this is a project that is bullish. You go back to the daily chart and the weekly chart, we are under buy signals. We're making some big moves here. Just a small correction on the way for Coinbase before that bullishness continues. Robinhood, very similar details here. It had gotten up and rejected on a take profit level that Luxago had given us from a buy signal. We're now flashing a sell signal. We're below that smart trail. My guess, by the time this closes, we're going to be somewhere probably T-Shroom in the world of coming back, suggesting back to this order block here around $20, just south of $20 for Robinhood stock. Let's see if the weekly chart says anything about that as well. Yeah, look at that. Right in that same boat, come back to the weekly smart trail. That'd be a good investment for Robinhood holders to get a pullback there. That's a nice little move to the downside. But yeah, if you guys are looking to get in those stocks, big crashes to the downside, as we said earlier, sometimes trash becomes an opportunity. Both of those taking big dumps for stocks today, but the opportunity to get in on them on cheaper prices absolutely on the radar. John Paccio, Tim, you on the wrong side of the chart. Don't know how I'm on the wrong side of the chart. What chart am I on the wrong side of?
I'm not sure.
Maybe he means maybe he hasn't watched in a while. Remember, I used to be on the left.
Makes sense.
And we realized that whenever we would talk to each other, I would turn this way, and if I was on the left, we were just looking in opposite directions. But now when I look at my screen to read the charts, it looks like I'm looking at the chart. It looks like I'm looking at you. So that's the reason for us switching. Maybe that's what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. I insisted on that, by the way. I felt like that would be better. Joseph Lapoza said, ever since the first episode I watched when T-Shroom said his favorite band was Radiohead and is what a band should be, I have respected your opinion. Thank you. That's right. And that's actually why a lot of people listen to what I have to say, because they know that I'm a Radiohead fan. So,
true.
Makes sense.
I mean, also, you are the top of your class.
That's right.
Is it macroeconomics or microeconomics?
It was just both. Yeah.
Oh, both. It was just all economics.
Mm-hmm.
Economic genius over here.
That's right. Dip Buyer said Elon Musk must attend an emergency court hearing in Philadelphia on Thursday to address a bid by the city's top prosecutor to stop the Tesla CEO and his political action from CBS News. That's an interesting one. There could be some, depending on how that goes, that could be interesting, or it could be completely nothing. Hopefully, it's nothing, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. That's so. If anything comes of that, and he is in trouble for using his fame and business to promote a political figure, that would be rough. That would be rough for a plethora of reasons. No, I'm saying if something I'm not saying like they're going to accuse him. Like we know that. If there's actually any enforcement there and restriction and punishment, that is so very rough on our system because, again, I don't even think it's a problem. The left has been doing that for a long time, and I'm not complaining. I think you, as an American citizen, if you have the right to impact election, you should use every bit of influence, every bit of power, every bit of your business to do so. That should be your right as an American, whether you're a conservative or a liberal. I don't think that I don't think it should be illegal for celebrities to endorse candidates. Again, more often than not, they endorse a Democratic candidate. That's fine. That's their right to do so. I don't want them taking that right away from me as a simple individual. So they shouldn't take it away from celebrities either. But same thing with business owners. If you want to use your business to promote who you believe the right person is for the party, the right person is for the political field, there's president or senator or congressman, you should have the right to use your business to do that. So if there's any enforcement there, it would just be the pot calling the kettle black, and it would just be a very gross, disgusting display of American politics. Super chat here from Yave Kanila. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I'm beginning to think that the wave is going to go from Bitcoin to Sol, then alts. Ethereum may catch little to no new funding this cycle. I'd be interested to hear your reasons for that, Yave. I'm not saying that it's impossible to work that way, but I think there is still a lot of things coming to Ethereum as well. I do like the concept of it coming to Sol before the rest of the altcoins. Maybe we see a Sol pump along with Ethereum, or maybe right after Ethereum. But at this point, I'm going to stick with the historical trajectory. It's Bitcoin into Ethereum, into altcoins. Even more recently, Larry Fink from BlackRock, we talked a lot about BlackRock today. He's even made the observation that Ethereum is going to be a big part of the future. And, I'm going to continue to bet on Ethereum being successful until like January. If in January we're not seeing anything positive from Ethereum, we'll have a conversation about the potential massive problem with Ethereum, but got to wait a little longer until that conversation comes on the table.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are underestimating Ethereum this cycle. And that's okay. So. That's okay because it keeps prices lower for folks to buy. Tim, I think we should go ahead and segue into our giveaway. What do you think?
Let's do it. Listen, I'm all about it. Again, all of our Lux Algo and exchange users, as Blofin and CoinW, you guys get ready. If you're one of them, your name might be called here in a second. T-Shroom, let's start off with the CoinW and the Blofin exchange holders. One of you guys are going to, I know we have a lot more people signed up than this, but not everyone is connected into Discord. This is a really key moment right here. Now, I know we have hundreds of people connected, but if you don't connect into our Discord, I'm going to show you guys real quickly. Don't go to my screen yet, T-Shroom. I want to make sure I'm on the right levels, but I want to show you guys what you got to do here. Make sure. Ooh, I don't want to put this. Let's go to general chat, so that's what you see when you come up here. If you're in Discord, all right, go to my screen here, T-Shroom. Make sure to go into our Discord. Get into. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Oh, well. Oh, there's a trade there from JW. Go into the VIP Lux Algo CoinW section, get access. You'll have different options to create a ticket to tell us if you're a Coinbase user or a Blofin user or a Lux Algo user right in here. And you can get connected not only to our different groups, but also get access to win this $500 giveaway. With that said, T-Shroom, let's do it.
Absolutely. We got names on here. We got J Sims, Goff64, Yoshi, That Dog in Me, Banana Zone, Rufio, Brent, Rick G, Flo, Bio, just to name a few. Let's go. Let's make it happen here. I like that sound so much.
It's a good little comforting sound.
Doc 51.
Doc B51. That's not even the first time that man's won something here on the channel, but
That's right.
good to have it again. It's all fair here. Shout out to Doc B. We'll tag him in chat to collect not his $50, not his $100, his $500 winnings. Congratulations, Doc B, for being our first winner there. Jack Rice says BS. Sorry, Jack. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. All right, a lot of people here with our Lux Algo users. These are VIP traders. Why don't we go ahead and spin this wheel, T-Shroom?
There's a lot of them on here, Tim. Got JW, Rufio again, Silent, Brent, Iron Mike, Marcus91, Goku, J, ML, Rick G, AR, T, SM79. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel. $500 on the line.
If this was Jack Rice, that would be epic. But it's not.
Free to invest.
Free to invest. Congratulations. Our other $500 winner. We got to reach out to them. If you guys are in here, let us know if you guys are in here to get that winnings. Otherwise, we'll reach out to you on Discord. Congratulations to you guys. We had a super chat come in while we were doing our giveaway here, T-Shroom.
Indeed.
From Austin Hicks saying, can I get some quick TA on an older crypto track Origin
Trail?
Origin Trail. Okay. Let's go in here. Let's see. Track.
Appreciate you specifying Origin Trail because
Origin Trail.
There's a different track that's actually like a search engine on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. We're out here on the weekly chart. So here's the thing I'll say. Again, never heard of this coin, so I got to kind of evaluate what the chart looks like and if I love it or not. I like its response here. I don't know how old it is. Obviously, this chart in Coinbase, it only came on right there at the top of the bull market back in November of 2021. Had the bear market just like everybody else, but look at the excitement since there. This is not a dead project. They've clearly had movers. Let's even see, what was the percentage of this big rally? 630%, right? So definitely some attention here. It has pulled back since then, right? So you love when there's blood in the streets. Pulled back 70%. Now it's looking to see, can we see some signs it wants to go back to the upside? T-Shroom. Look at that. MACD on the weekly chart. It looks like we're about to cross bullish for the first time since back here in October of 2023. And I already know October 2023. It's right there, guys. The last time this happened, I'm not going to say it's in a perfect match, but the last time there was a nice 600% rally, like we just talked about, I think it could go potentially even higher. On the weekly chart, some targets to keep an eye on. It's not old enough to have the cloud. Oh, it is. No, the clouds are up here. Ooh, keep your eye back up towards these highs, 156. Back up towards 156 could be a very interesting spot by the time it's all said and done. It came down, T-Shroom, touching the weekly chart support level of this bullish breaker block perfectly. Former resistance level, we now have turned it into support. It hit the take profit. The oscillators are looking good. What about the daily? How is this looking maybe for the next couple of weeks? Let's take a look there. Not a buy signal officially. In fact, it looks like it wants to keel over just a little bit. The daily chart showing a little bit of weakness, so it might be the right time to hold off for a little bit further move to the downside. Let's go to the 4-hour, and we'll check liquidations here as well. Well, the 4-hour is kind of showing us you're looking for a pullback down here towards 51 cents. Liquidity-wise, let's see what we got going on here. Somewhere in that 50-cent range, definitely on the cards. Well, that's a little bit lower. What about the 1-hour? Let's see. Yep, right there, 51 cents still. Major order block. There is liquidity down here right below, but I'm going to go with order blocks here, T-Shroom. I'm going to say, especially since you're looking at a long-term movement, I'm looking at I'm not even going to put up a trade position here. I'm just going to say I'm looking at this order block, this bullish breaker block. I'm looking at a buy signal right in here, somewhere in that 50-cent range, 51, 52-cent range. Turn this sucker off. We'll go to the weekly chart. And I'm saying you're going to go back up. We're going to take profit up here. Ooh, very small box right there. Let's expand that. We're going to take profit back up at these former bull market highs for a potential interesting trade situation. That's going to be a good one. It's going to be a nice 176% move. Put a stop loss potentially somewhere right here below these wicks where there's been some strong support. Depending on the percentage of that, you might be able to get yourself a 2x, 3x trade and still be, put yourself a 2x trade with like 15, 16% stop loss, and you can make some serious dough trading Origin Trail right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing on this chart. for a good long-term rally over the next couple of months.
Some serious dough, says Tim.
Yes. All right. Well, I think even though it's a couple minutes early, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream. It was a shorter one again because there's not as much news. But T-Shroom, before we wrap it out, we've done a lot today, covered some Bitcoin, explained to people where they should be looking for a lot of these projects to be buying in. Little pullback still coming for a lot of the crypto space before the explosive bull run does kick off again. Anything you want to say to the people before we wrap it out?
Well, Microsoft is down 6% today. So I will say, we've talked about a lot of one man's trash is another man's treasure. Bros, I have a really good entry in Microsoft because I bought it during the pandemic, but it's done me good. They have good dividends. This is one, if you're looking, if you filled up on crypto, you're not really looking to allocate more to crypto, which would surprise me. There's a really good entry right here for Microsoft, right under $410. So just something to take a look at there if you're looking to diversify into U.S. stocks.
All right. Well, as always, the Tim thought of the day. What do we want to talk about today? What is a way we can be better at life in general? I'll keep it simple even with this. It's a boring day. You got to be patient in the markets, but that ultimately is the story of life. You got to learn to be patient. But I'll tell you this right now. If you want to be patient, if that's something you want to be more of, and I think any good human wants to achieve that, you don't get more patient by everything in your life being simple. You become more patient because you had opportunities to be more patient. Somebody comes in your life that's super annoying. Something happens that delays the expectations that are coming to you. Sometimes on the charts, you don't get your perfect entry within a couple of hours, which would seem very nice. Sometimes you got to wait days or even weeks. But the best of the best in the investing world, they know how to be patient. And the greatest humans that ever walked the planet, they understand and appreciate no matter what comes into their life. Nobody can dictate you having a good day or a bad day and being able to withstand anything except for you. Grow in patience. Look for opportunities right now in your life to learn that very valuable skill, not just for investing, but for your overall relationships as well. With that said, we love you guys. Thank you for being here. Smash the like on your way out. Hit subscribe. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's going to be November. Adios.